Welcome to episode 52 of The Cover 2, presented by Tigervision. I'm with Grayson, Mann. I'm Patrick Neal. As always, we are here. We are back from spring break. We've got a little bit less money on us. We've got more sunburns, maybe more of a tan.
I wish.
I don't, but yeah, just a good spring break. To get back into it, today, what are we talking about?
Today we have on deck, we have Lamar Jackson. This week he announced he's going to be, he's requested a trade earlier this month in March on the 2nd, and we have some March Madness talk, and then we're going to do, I think if we have time, we're going to go over this coach's photo that's bothered Patrick.
We could go ahead, well, yeah, we can do that after Lamar probably.
Yeah.
Do some NFL stuff, do some March Madness stuff, including we're each going to power rank our top 5 favorite March Madness players of all time. So stay tuned for that. But to get into the Lamar situation, as if we haven't already, he's probably been single-handedly the most talked about person we've talked about this offseason. It came out yesterday. He took to Twitter and decided minutes before John Harbaugh got up to get interviewed by the entire media.
Intentional, doesn't it?
That he's put in a trade request on March 2nd, so it's been almost a month now. So Lamar let everybody know about that. I feel like it wasn't surprising, though.
No, because we've heard for months that he wants the Deshaun Watson money, and you look at a guy like Lamar he's won 75% of his starts. At the same time, he's also missed 13 of his last 25 starts, so there is very much a balancing act that has to come into play when you're Baltimore, and you got a guy like Lamar Jackson who, when he's on the field, he performs up to what he wants for contract, but then you also look at the other side where you're playing with Tyler Huntley in the playoff game, and you're a QB sneak fumble away from potentially pulling off an upset, and you think, okay, if we had Lamar Jackson, how differently does that go? Do we even have to play Cincinnati in that situation? It's gonna be tough it was tough for him to be able to demand that kind of money, and then Baltimore basically just told him, hey, go see what the market wants. Go see what the market will tell you, and they haven't said anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have kind of said...
They've said everything without saying anything.
Yeah, they've said, we aren't going to give you this contract. None of the owners want to do that. They don't want to be... I mean, you had Deshaun Watson last year, but nobody wants to be the next owner to give that fully guaranteed contract because they want to set a precedent that, hey, this isn't the NBA, this isn't baseball. We're not going to be giving away all this guaranteed money, just like that. So, is it collusion to a certain point? Probably. I mean, probably you aren't going to put it past a lot of the NFL owners based on some of their histories, but
can you blame an NFL owner not wanting to? First of all, because of the trade situation now, it was already complicated beforehand, and now it's even more so because Baltimore's asking price, I'm sure, is going to be pretty high. Matthew Stafford, 3 first-round picks. Deshaun Watson, 3 first-round picks. And on top of that, you also have to negotiate a pretty high contract that Lamar wants. Not many teams are going to be willing to sacrifice that much for a quarterback that's not a surefire hit to be on the field all the time.
Yeah, well, you have... Correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't signed that franchise tag yet, right?
If he's requested a trade, then they're gonna. The Ravens aren't just gonna let him walk.
Yeah, so you have the non-exclusive franchise tag, which would be 2 first-round picks. So that's not awful for Lamar.
Not terrible, but then you still have to negotiate.
Yeah, you still have to negotiate with them, or what you can do is the Ravens can franchise tag him, and then you can work out another trade package with the Ravens. It's just a very messy situation. And we're kind of just at this point just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you point out what the Ravens can and can't do. The Ravens are pretty much telling Lamar Jackson, this is what we're going to do. If there's a team that wants to pay a premium for you, go ahead. We like you, but we don't like you that much. And you can't blame the Ravens for that situation, but you also can't blame Lamar for thinking, hey, I'm an NFL MVP. I've produced consistently fantastic highlights, fantastic stats, numbers, gotten the Ravens to the playoffs multiple times, won a playoff game, which a lot of these quarterbacks don't do when they get these big paydays. Justin Herbert's about to get a big payday, and he is part of the blown lead to Jacksonville. I'm sure. I mean, Josh Allen got a big contract extension. I think he's got actually an over 500 playoff record, but it was in the works before he'd won a playoff game. So they have to hitch their wagon to these quarterbacks, and I don't think Baltimore essentially wants to do that at that price.
It just doesn't make any sense why, like considering the league's history of paying players who have had questionable past. You look at there's so many. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson situation. You have, there's Kareem Hunt. You have Tyreek Hill. There's just Joe Mixon. Even there's plenty of case studies of the NFL playing players who have had problems, who have sacrificed kind of the ethical side just to to get talent on the field. And when you see someone like Lamar Jackson, who has proven, being a league MVP, that he can produce at the highest level, he doesn't have the same kind of questionable off the field issues.
He just beefs with dudes on Twitter, which is it's not a bad thing.
Which is a lot of guys do that. But he's where was I going with this? He hasn't had the off the field issues. Yes, he's been injured, which I'm sure is a large part of why he hasn't seen a guaranteed contract, or the owners don't want to pay him this kind of money, because he has been injured a lot recently. He also gets sick a decent amount when.
Just a brittle guy.
And especially when he depends so much on his running ability, that's going to hurt him. But it just doesn't make any sense. What came out today? The Falcons, Arthur Smith declared that Desmond Ridder is QB1, which good for him. And he says he believes Desmond Ridder can take it to the next level, be the guy. Desmond Ridder, when he was drafted, he was like, "We're going to win a Super Bowl here. I'm not leaving until we win a Super Bowl." So we'll see if that happens.
Might wait a while.
So Desmond Ridder, Atlanta's not going after Lamar. Ron Rivera also came out. I'll read the tweet that Ian Rappaport tweeted out. Commanders coach Ron Rivera discussing his QB. Says he believes Sam Howell has many of the same qualities of Brock Purdy. As for adding a high-money QB, Lamar Jackson, he says they never looked into it. I know he's a tremendous talent, but it wasn't for them. It's hard to imagine an MVP caliber QB is not for a team.
I think, there's a quote from Devin McCourty, because his name's also been tied to New England, saying, no disrespect to Mac Jones, but when you have a quarterback like that that's out there, you got to at least take a phone call or two.
Yeah.
For Lamar's talent level, because we could be sitting here questioning an injury or something like that, and then 6 months later, he's 13-2, injury-free, playing back to the MVP level that we know. Even if he doesn't get to that MVP level, he's still a top 7 quarterback in this league. Absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So it's a strange situation. I don't know if it's because of the whole, he doesn't really have an agent. It's his mom. And maybe she's a fantastic agent, but I don't know.
That's part of it. I think the injury history is part of it, and not wanting to pay that fully guaranteed money is probably the 3 main things. Yeah. But it just doesn't make any sense. If you're the Commanders, you're going to be selling the team, which could make sense why they don't want to try and trade for him right now, because they don't know who the owner's going to be.
Right.
But maybe if they get who, I saw there was a bid put in today, like $6 billion. I think it was it was a Canadian
billionaire.
Canadian dude. But if you get a new owner in there, and Lamar Jackson is still available, I don't know why it wouldn't be on the table for you. I don't know why Brock Purdy is like.
Why is he the ceiling here?
Yeah, why is he the ceiling?
But for someone like a team like the Commanders, who I think excused their playoff game in 2020, have they had a winning record? I think they've had more name changes than playoff appearances.
Yeah,
and
honestly.
I think Lamar Jackson on that team,
it would be great. And you look at the rest of that division. How is Washington going to compete with the Eagles, who might have some regression, but who are still definitely a better roster than
for sure.
The Commanders? The Cowboys
sneakily got better this offseason.
Yeah, the Cowboys got better. You have the Giants now, who made the playoffs and are paying their QB $40 million a year.
You had 3 teams that made the playoffs in the NFC East that has a historically terrible division.
It's it's become a really good division, but overall the NFC is weak.
Yeah.
So I think you could, honestly, Washington almost got in last year, so could all 4 teams maybe get in the playoffs? Potentially. Ron Rivera is on the hot seat, in all honesty. I mean, they haven't performed great these past few years. So
maybe the Commanders aren't tipping their hand.
Maybe. But look, I think, just if you're able to get Dan Snyder out of there, just kind of reset. You have the new name. You're in the second year of the Commanders. It'd be just like a great, opportunity to kind of reset this team and reset the image of it with an MVP level quarterback.
It's just a weird situation. I don't think I've ever seen really anything like with a quarter. Maybe Deshaun Watson because it dragged out for so long, but that was more because of a legal issue than Lamar, who we consider to be a pretty good guy. So I'm just confused by it all, Patrick.
I
really
am as well. But
I get it, but I'm also just confused.
Yeah, it's a very confusing time, and I think a lot of outsiders, people not tied to NFL teams, are very confused why Lamar Jackson.
Why
there's no interest. But some league rules got passed today. We'll mention this quickly. Players can now wear number 0.
Shout out Barrett Carter.
Yeah, Barrett Carter
and
wears
Antonio
number 0.
Williams
looks great in it. They both look great in it. Calvin Ridley is the first player that will wear number 0. The Jaguars, they posted a photo, but his hands were covering the number, so it looked like it could have been a 3, it could have been a 6, a 9, an 8 even. Mm-hmm. So not the best marketing there by the Jaguars, but Calvin Ridley's going to look sick in 0.
Absolutely.
I saw a tweet that he chose number 0 because that's how many games he played last season.
Maybe.
But defensive linemen and linebackers not going to be able to wear it, which
maybe
that stinks. Defensive tackles should definitely be able to wear number 0.
Maybe Calvin Ridley's wearing 0 for the amount of times he's going to gamble moving forward. He's like setting a precedent for sports betting.
Lamar Jackson should change to number 0 because that's
0
how many teams
contracts offered.
That's how many teams are interested in him. What I want to see a punter or a kicker wear 0. Just
0 misses. And just go perfect on the year.
Or you could go the other way and go 0 field goals made this game.
Maybe we should implement a new rule where kickers get to their jersey number is just what they are on the year. Like if they're 18
Brett Maher
of 26.
changes his number 0.
One of your kickers, like McPherson, he's like 24, 26. That's his jersey number for the day.
Then I think it'd be dope. Bring back some kicker and some punter swag. Honestly.
All right. Well, have you seen that fake punt where he goes behind the back and is able to punt it?
What? Who?
It was in the preseason, I think.
Who was it?
I think it was either the Bengals kicker or the Washington Redacted's kicker, or punter at the time.
It's honestly no. Sorry. We'll have to find it after the show.
I'm gonna show it to you after this.
Yeah. Wish list for players to wear number 0. Who do you want to see wear it?
I want to see Matthew Judon wear 0. I feel like he could get.
Well, he can't wear it.
Oh, he can't. Well, he could technically be considered. Oh, he can't.
He's a linebacker, or
okay,
a
you know
defensive
what?
lineman.
You go ahead, and I'm gonna think about it.
Well, I was hoping you'd have something because I wasn't thinking very much either.
You know what'd be cool, and I think it'd be kind of fitting with his personality, is Baker Mayfield wearing 0.
Yeah.
On Tampa. It's 0 chances left.
Yeah.
This is his last destination.
Yeah.
Type thing.
That'd be something. That'd be cool, I guess. Who else? I mean,
I could see Aaron Rodgers wearing 0 just because he's all with that
that
channeling
doesn't
and
fit.
that zen.
That doesn't fit, I don't think. Elijah Moore is somebody I feel like who would wear 0.
0 targets when Zach Wilson's quarterback.
What about a rookie who's coming in this year?
JSN
wears 0?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That'd be a good one, actually.
Give it to him. Or the Illinois corner.
Oh, Devin Witherspoon?
Yeah.
Did he wear 0 in college?
I don't think so.
He might have. I believe Christian Gonzalez, the Oregon corner, wore 0.
I think so.
There's another one for you.
There's Witherspoon. Okay, hold on. Oh, that's a court
Anthony
case.
Richardson wearing 0 could be kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he wore 31 at Illinois.
Okay. Well, anyways, players can now wear 0, just like college. It'll look sick.
Make the NFL fun again.
Who's like the who would you least like? What does 0 fit with the least? Sorry, I'm not asking this question clearly. Which player, if they wore 0, would surprise you the most?
If there was a player to come out and wear 0, why would it surprise me?
Who would it look the grossest on?
I think it looked gross on like a tight end that's worn like the 80s numbers because it's such a drastic change. Like, imagine if, like, for example...
So Josh Oliver, blocking tight end 0 almost fits.
Like, can you imagine 0 pass attempts, zero targets?
I think it'd look pretty gross on, like, a Mac Jones type quarterback.
I know. But 10's just so good on him, you know?
Yeah. But, imagine Mac Jones changed to 0.
You get clowned on.
He would.
I swear, Mac Jones breathes and he just gets attacked. It's just unfair.
You know what would be a good one? Kyle Juszczyk, if he wore 0.
Oh, that would be so cool.
That'd be a good one. That's my wish.
44 on him, it feels
44,
so...
yeah, 44
it feels
looks
so
good,
Harvard to him.
It looks good, though. He makes it work.
4.4 was his GPA. Harvard, sure.
Anyways, Grayson, you mentioned the coach's photo.
I did.
We don't have it pulled up, but... You can check it on Twitter, check it on the internet. It's a good-looking photo. Anything stand out to you? Who's the best dressed?
Who's the best dressed here? You know what I got to point out? I'm surprised Belichick showed up.
Yeah, he looks very unhappy, honestly.
Well, he just looks unhappy all the time.
That's
not
true.
Really
That's true.
Not really a surprise. Okay, here we go.
So Andy Reid, obviously, front and center.
Andy Reid is the best dressed.
His Hawaiian shirt is spectacular. I'm not a big, honestly... At these casual events, I don't know why you're wearing like a suit type.
No, you got to go with like the nice shirt and then like the pants or the nice shorts. Like,
yeah, Shane Steichen's wearing
I think Dan Campbell's
business
wearing
casual, I guess.
John Harbaugh's not even.
Supposedly, Brian Dable was the first coach to crack a beer open at 11:32 a.m.
Whoever got the exact time right, that's top tier reporting right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's how you
Actually,
get it done.
I take that back. Mike Tomlin wearing a suit is spectacular. He should be the only one that's allowed to wear a suit.
Mike Tomlin, Clemson Pro Day.
Yep.
Busy guy.
But other than that, Mike McCarthy looks really, really unhappy. He looks a little bit like
Mike
constipated,
McCarthy's got to renew
honestly.
his PFF subscription.
But
oh, there he is.
I don't know. Any thoughts for the coach's photo?
You know, they're just all. You say Andy Reid and Belichick and Harbaugh. I like how the front row are all like the older coaches in a way. Like you got your Shan.
Is it by seniority maybe?
Like Andy Reid and Belichick.
You got Tomlin.
You got Andy Reid and Belichick, and why isn't Tomlin in the front?
Dable looks fantastic with the shades.
Yes, I love how all of them got like glasses on their shirt, but they're not wearing them. Like Dable just embraced. He's probably drunk too.
He's hiding his face. He's hiding his eyes.
Brian Dable hangover.
But yeah, good photo. I'm sure this is the content you tune in for.
Absolutely.
If we even have anybody still listening at this point. But
shout out.
We're gonna talk a little March Madness. You know, we occasionally do some basketball here.
So you had to first tell me, did you totally see this coming? Like everybody else did?
No, I didn't, but supposedly LeBron did.
Oh, yeah, LeBron knew it.
LeBron you know,
knew it.
he saw FAU, San Diego State, Miami, and UConn in the Final Four. I don't think really anybody else did. I saw a statistic that like .00000, like 5 more zeros, 5-6% of brackets had this Final Four. So,
sure. So like the one guy that was
just
screwing
LeBron.
around.
Just LeBron.
So I talked to a guy yesterday, and he told me that he did his bracket solely on a coin flip, and he actually has UConn in the Final Four.
Okay, I feel like that's the most popular of the 4 teams to have in the Final Four.
They're my pick right now.
Yeah. Didn't you pick them to win it all?
No, I picked UCLA to win it all.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. But
yeah,
UConn has looked good. First time ever in tournament history that no 1, 2, or 3 seeds are in the Final Four.
Yeah, it was the first time no 1 seeds were in the Elite 8.
Yeah, just a crazy tournament. It's been a lot of fun though.
Oh yeah, we got FDU, FAU.
A lot of
San Diego.
FUs. A lot of FUs.
Furman.
Yeah, Furman too.
Shout out Furman.
Yep, a lot of FUs. I mean, Princeton got all the way to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite storyline so far?
So my favorite storyline was did the Princeton starting 5 get their calculus homework turned in? I don't know if you saw I don't know if you saw the video of them in the hotel room doing calculus homework that night before the game. That was tough. Apparently,
I'm glad I don't go to Princeton.
Apparently, if Princeton had gone to the Final Four, they all had one of them had like a thesis that they had to do because they were senior. The professor was not willing to extend it.
There's no way.
There's no way.
The university would have to let them. There's no way. I did see videos of Princeton, like the campus after they had won.
Just completely chill.
And it's just people studying. Completely on brand for Princeton. My favorite storyline, Marquise Noel in Kansas State.
Short king.
I tell you what, I am a sucker for like the small ball dominant point guards in March Madness and college basketball. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get to it eventually, but that's in part why I thought of us to rank our our favorite players in March Madness. But Kansas State, they got Lil Baby going in the locker room.
Dude, the
I've been
clapping.
obsessed with those videos.
Oh my goodness! And then FAU did it.
FAU. Oh, that's right. They did do it. They did do it. But just a lot of swag from Jerome Tang, clapping like they're in church. They're all just sitting down.
Very classy guy too, coming after the loss. Congratulates the team.
Was that him genuinely wanting to be there, or did he know the cameras were going to be there and he wanted to look better?
I've enjoyed the Kansas State run so much that I'm going to choose to believe
I agree.
He's a nice guy.
The lavender tech suits looked awesome as well. Oof. Just great vibes from Kansas State, even though they didn't get to the Final Four. Got to the Elite Eight. Fun team to watch. Marquise Noel, just some crazy passes getting put on display.
FDU, man. Beating Purdue. Ripped the heart out of so many people.
Yeah.
Love that too. They didn't make it to the Sweet 16, but still, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's a tough look. I had Kansas going to the finals. They lost to Arkansas. 3 years in a row, my champion has not gotten out of the first weekend. We're going back to the drawing board next year. Not going to be any better, but
I think next year I'm just going to guess. Not going to try that.
Honestly, so I did a little fun bracket. Didn't enter it into anything, but I did it based on who would win in football. And for a pretty decent amount of time, that was my best bracket.
That actually...
Because
your Final Four?
I think it was Alabama, Tennessee, TCU, and trying to look at maybe Texas was who it was. I don't remember.
Oh, Texas. How many non-football schools are in this one?
Look, I don't know. But that was my best school for a while. So
there you go. And Texas did have a good run, so.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts on March Madness? We're not here to break down, the X's and O's. I feel like this is very Charles Barkley-esque.
Yeah, Charles Barkley trying to talk about March Madness. They just
put us in here to talk gibberish.
They have him talking on there because he's Charles Barkley.
Yeah, exactly. We just don't have the charm that he has.
No.
But
nor the NBA experience that put him there.
Yeah. We also got to gain a few pounds as well, but
yeah.
It is what it is. Chuck? Anyways, power ranking top 5 favorite March Madness players of all time.
There you go.
So you want to go 5 to 1?
Yeah, let's do 5 to 1.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
I do want to go first.
Okay.
So this technically is more of him being remembered for a moment in a conference tournament, but nonetheless still happened in March. My number 5 player is Cardiac Kemba.
Oh.
The shot with UConn.
Okay.
The little step back.
Yeah.
Where he gets the nickname. That's an iconic moment.
Absolutely iconic.
I think you got to also consider what he did afterwards too. Mm-hmm. Heck of a player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Didn't work out in Boston.
Well, we're talking strictly March Madness.
But no,
here.
he was killer in March Madness too.
I gotta agree. Putting him at 5 is very worthy.
Very worthy.
I actually don't have him on my list because, in all honesty, I don't I've seen the highlights and stuff. I just don't remember it very much, like what I was doing when that was happening. So
that's true.
All 5 of my favorite players, I remember like explicitly where I was watching them, stuff like that. My number 5 pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with. I have a whole list here. Let's go with Cassius Winston.
Oh, the Michigan State
State point guard. I told you, sucker for the short ball dominant point guards that aren't going to do anything in the NBA.
He took down Zion.
I love those. They took down Zion. I remember picking Michigan State to win that game. I felt great when it happened. but he was there for a long time. You know, he just controlled that Michigan State team. You know, they say January, February, Izzo. Cassius Winston is
Michigan
in part
State.
as to why that is. I mean, he had more talented players on his team. You know, you had the Miles Bridges, you had the Jaren Jackson Juniors who
Still shine.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. All-Star in the NBA, but Cassius Winston, you know, when it was crunch time, who are you giving the ball to? Cassius Winston. He was making a play. You remember Matt McQuaid too?
Dude, the name. Just
Matt McQuaid.
implanted.
Here, I'll show up. I'll Google him for you because you'll remember him. I found out he's on their staff now. But
Really?
this guy, when
Yes.
they were playing Duke, he was for some reason really solid. Came up in big moments, but
I'll look
Cassius
up-
Winston is who I'm going to pick for that 5 spot.
I'll look up the best moments in March Madness, and you'll probably find Cassius Winston on there.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, who's your 4 pick though?
My number 4 pick, this is a little biased, but it's also personal because I know
Okay.
the guy myself, and it's Jalen Slauson.
Fair enough.
That's my
Fair enough.
guy from Furman who put on a double-double performance against Virginia and had a decent game against San Diego State. It was just cool for me being able to come home and watch a guy that I played football with and just went to high school, pretty much watched him become the guy he is today, and then watch him ball out in March Madness, especially given last year where they got their hearts ripped out in the conference final. It was good to see.
Only in the 4 spot though. Is he going to be mad about this?
Well, because there's just some players that there's no offense to my guy.
Okay. At least he was on the list.
He had to
what
be
you're
on the
saying.
list.
Yeah,
He had to be on
fair
the
enough.
list.
Fair enough. I mean, after his success, you gotta get him on an interview or something.
Oh, I have.
Oh, okay.
I have.
Okay.
He was on it last year.
I know, but you got to get him like recently.
Oh, get him back?
Yeah, get him
I
back.
need to. You're right.
After the success, ask him all about it. All right, my 4 pick. I'm gonna go. This one's kind of a double, but I'm gonna pick one of them because I think one of them was better than the other.
Yeah.
The Harrison twins played for
Ooh.
Kentucky. I'm gonna go Aaron Harrison.
I like this.
I feel like he was in college for a really, really long time, but I think it was only 2 years based off of this sports reference page. But I could have sworn he was at Kentucky from like 2010 to like 2016.
He was around for a while.
But yeah, supposedly it was only 2 years. So I don't know how that works, but I just remember him. I thought he played with like Anthony Davis, but I guess not.
Oh, really?
But yeah, exactly. I just thought he played like the entire first half of the 2010s. But
Interesting.
supposedly he did not. Very clutch player. You love the factor that he had his twin with him there.
That's a cool story.
Yeah,
you have
a cool
your
story.
guy there.
But he played with like Julius Randle, Willie Cauley-Stein. Just some. I remember those Kentucky basketball teams. They all kind of blend together because a lot of NBA talent has gone through there.
Yeah.
But I just remember that kind of era of Kentucky basketball.
I feel like you might agree with me. The majority of this list will be by players that don't really have an NBA career.
Yeah.
Their moment
There's something special about
is in March Madness.
those players that don't succeed in the NBA.
Yeah.
Might succeed elsewhere, in Europe or Australia or wherever. But Aaron
Okay.
Harrison is who I'm going with.
So I got number 3 now.
Yes.
Okay, this is my list may look a little recency bias here with this pick, but I got to go with my man Doug Eater from St. Peter's.
Okay.
The Peacocks, an absolute meme. Got the NIL deal and was able to transfer out. That was just a moment where he's the most average-looking dude out there.
Yep.
But he made it work, and he had a big moment in the first round to get the upset. And then they ironically also beat Purdue, like FDU. I think this year's Cinderella was the 15 seed. They get Super 4. It was probably Princeton, I think.
Yeah, Princeton.
But
Princeton was they got motivation from St. Peter's.
That's right. And
from
they were like just the
Dougie Buckets.
goofiest, the mascot with the peacocks. They had like the giant bird out there. Loved it.
It was fantastic. I mean, Doug Eddert, he got a Buffalo Wild Wings sponsorship out of it too.
Loved it.
I think he's at Bryant now.
Yeah, he's at Bryant.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't know what he's doing there, but
I don't know either.
had a great week and a half.
He did.
2 weeks.
He did.
So, my next pick, another, I don't know what I'm saying. Another great college basketball player. That's what I'm going to say. R.J. Hunter from Georgia State.
Oh yes.
Another family man. His
right.
dad was the coach, Ron Hunter. you have the video of the game winner RJ Hunter hit, where Ron Hunter then falls off his stool because he's so excited. I believe they won 2 games by buzzer beaters, if I'm not mistaken. It may have just been the one.
They beat Baylor in a buzzer beater.
It was a close game.
That was pretty cool.
I think they had 2 close games. But Ron Hunter, RJ Hunter. The reason I have them at 3 is because actually that year I remember going to see them in person. I don't remember who they were playing, but it was a fun team. It was a fun little environment, kind of like a high school basketball stadium, but it was super fun. They had Kevin Ware, if you remember. Kevin Ware.
Rest in peace, his leg.
Well, he was doing good then.
He was.
He had transferred to Georgia State, and yeah, it was. When you go see him live and in person, just kind of had that special connection of having watched him in person.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna go with, RJ Hunter.
Okay. All right. You know how you love your short king point guard dominating? I'm going to go with Carson Edwards from Purdue. That guy was a sniper.
He was my number 1 pick. He was going to be who I put at number 1. So we can just talk about him now.
Yeah.
Dude was a bucket.
What can you say? I remember watching that game against Virginia. I know exactly where I was, and I was just like, I was in awe.
Yeah. So
tiniest dude in the court was chucking up lasers.
That was the most fun I've ever had watching a basketball game. Because that night, for whatever reason, no matter how close the defender was to Carson Edwards, he would make whatever he threw up there. They just kept running him across the baseline, come up, almost like the Kyle Korver shots that used to happen when Kyle Korver was in his prime.
Right.
You just run him up. He'd be fading away, 3-pointer, buckets. I think he had 10 threes that night.
Yeah.
I watched those highlights so many times. I watched them again today to prepare for this, of course, because we prepare very much for this show. But fantastic. My mom went to Purdue, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's in part why I enjoyed watching him so much. I just was so sad when Diakite hit that shot.
It was so because he had 40 points. It was like 42 points or something.
I think it was 42.
I think I watched his highlights like 30 minutes before the Purdue game started just because I was bored and just being in awe because it was a big moment and they should have gone to the final. They probably would have won the whole thing.
He was just what a game.
And then there's that picture of him in the NBA with
with Taco Fall. I was about to mention that too.
Taco Fall was about to make my list, but I
Taco Fall I had on my short list just because 7'6", 7'7". Awesome, but Carson Edwards, man.
Carson Edwards.
Yeah, he was definitely.
Did you have a feeling
spot.
that's what I was going to bring up?
That's what I figured you were going to do. So my number 1 spot, kind of not a surprise anymore. I'll go my number 2 spot though.
Okay.
It's Ja Morant. Okay, he's been in the news recently, but I almost want to pick Darnell Cowart, who was. If you remember, his like 6'7", kind of bigger bodied center. Anyways, those two in the Murray State game against Marquette when they were playing Marcus Howard. Ja Morant, nuts. You got the call, it's a jaw jam. Who Darnell Cowart, he was like Draymond Light. The reincarnation of Draymond Green.
Yeah. On
that play, he gets the ball, no look, bounce passes straight to Ja. Ja then jumps like on a dude, yams it, and just was awesome. But Darnell Cowart was like a fantastic passer just out of nowhere for a big man. I actually went in, he plays for the Memphis Hustle in the G League, and he's had some fantastic passes in there as well.
Facts.
Just a little no look. Just dissing it all over the place.
With Ja Morant, it was a cool name. Murray State?
Yeah, Murray State, the Racers, middle of Kentucky. But there was all this talk about him before the game. And, yeah, he just delivered.
He was that guy.
I think he had a triple-double. If not, it was very close to a triple-double. I don't think they won the next game, but fantastic game.
Fantastic little run. Is it time for the number 1 pick? Okay. Yeah. So my pick is a guy that he could have chosen after this heroic moment. Could have chosen to do anything he wants. I mean, you send your team to the Final Four, and you show up to your 8 a.m. Luke May.
Luke May.
What a guy.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, Luke May. Great pick.
Swishing a shot to beat Kentucky to go to the Final Four, and you show up to your 8 a.m., I don't. When I get up for 8 o'clock classes, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Luke May, he inspires me. He inspires me.
You respect the student athlete.
I respect
the true student part of student
If
athlete.
there was a term for academic weapon, it's got to be that clip right there, where everyone he gets an applause too.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Wow,
fantastic work from him."
Great guy.
Yeah, great pick. Luke May, all-time college basketball player. Very clutch. Was there for a very long time.
He was indeed."
And now his brother is going to be like a top 5 draft pick.
I was tempted to pick Drew Timme because he's basically
I
college
don't like
basketball's
Drew
Hunter-
Timme.
He's college basketball's Hunter Renfro.
I'm not a big fan of Drew Timme. I don't like. He strokes the mustache.
Oh, he
What's
rubs
this
you the
guy?
wrong way.
But he's a villain, and you got to respect that.
You gotta respect that.
We could honestly name college basketball players for like hours.
Could go minutes.
We were mentioning Kyle Guy.
I was gonna
Shabazz Napier.
I was gonna do
Chris Jenkins.
and the Jim Nance call.
Archie
He gets
Diacono.
it to Jenkins.
I mean,
oh.
Max Asmus.
I was gonna do the entire Loyola Chicago team.
Who was the big guy? Clayton. Starts with a K. His last name. I'm gonna Google it. Loyola Chicago.
Clayton Keller?
No. Shoot. He had the mustache. Oh my goodness. 2020, 2021. Here we go.
Clayton Custer.
Yes. No, Cameron Krutwig.
Oh.
There's 2 of them, I think.
There's 2 of them?
I think there was 2 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Cameron Krutwig is who I was thinking of.
Wow.
Sister Jean. Gotta love
She's
Loyola
still going
Chicago.
strong, to
She
my
is
knowledge.
still going strong. But yeah, that's gonna do it. This episode has probably run long enough. Zach was telling us to get out of here. So it's episode 52. That's the end of it. I'm dragging on too long. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, like, follow, all of that stuff. And yeah, have a good one.